All right, welcome back to Focused Hands. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to disassemble the airbrush that I picked up from Harbor Freight. Here is that example, right? So I'm going to show you how to disassemble this because I wasn't taught this. You can actually read it in the manual, but for those of you who don't like reading, so first and foremost, if you have your compressor on, which mine is in the background over here, and it's on, if I press it, kicks on. One thing I want to note is if you go to use the airbrush, these are fantastic tools, by the way. If you press down, that just releases air. If you press down and pull back, that releases the paint, and then you can get the spraying. Anyway, while you are here, so let's disassemble it. Let's take the hose off. You want to pull down on the hose to release the disconnect, quick disconnect. You can twist this black part off. It just slides off like that. Next, you want to pull out the needle. You can pull that all the way out. Boom. This is very sharp. Be careful. You can stick yourself, and I can only tell you how bad of a day that's going to be for you. Feeling it is another thing. Okay, so there's a little spindle, not a spindle, but watch out for this because this will sometimes back itself off, this little nut here. But you want to turn this little screw, bolt, screw, you know what I mean. We'll take that off all the way out, and there'll be a spring in here, you'll see. Okay, so there's a spring and there's a little pedal. This little pedal is important. When we go to put this back together, I'll show you where this is supposed to go. Okay, on top of that, you have your pedal. That comes out, leaving now your empty chamber. Your nozzle also comes off. Unscrew that. You're left with this. You can take this off with the, this is your needle or your nozzle tip, if you will. I think this one's a 0.3. Bring it in so you can see. Oh, it's not gonna want to focus for me, but this is your 0.3 tip. You can change it out with a 0.5, whatever. And there's a little O-ring that's on that, so don't lose that O-ring, otherwise you're gonna have leakage. The cap comes off. You just pull it straight off. Now you have your cap and your airbrush base. What I like to do, I like to take the pedal. You want the finger groove side, the serration side, facing forward. And on here, there'll be a little hole in there. You want to put this little, what looks like a copper plunger into that hole. You won't be able to see it on camera, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you are following along. Square that up, drop it in that hole. It's a little difficult at first. And you want to make sure when you go to press it, it presses down and it goes back. Right? Should be able to press it like that. Step one's done. Step two, I like to put this whole connection piece back in. And this might seem tricky, but it isn't. The foot pedal needs to be facing up as it presses on your pedal. So you put that in there. It presses up right against, I'm just gonna get so you can see this, presses up right against your foot pedal or against your pedal. And then you screw it down. All the way down. Don't Hercules tight it, just get it all the way down. Right? Only thing we Hercules tight is the O2 sensor on the focus. Screw it all the way in. All right, so that's bottomed out. So now when you have that pressed down, press it. You should be able to go back like this. That's good. Needle. I'm gonna thread that through, just like so. Very carefully. Oh, just move this back a bit. It tightened down on the needle, so you don't want that all the way to the front, and it'll bottom out over here, as you'll see. Okay, tighten that down a little bit. Take our nozzle, thread that on there. pull it back here, you can see. Okay, last piece, cover. Goes back on like that. Perfect. And then our cap. And to test it, hose and there you go. Hopefully that helps anyone that's out here trying to do this.